Welcome back to Trail of Tuesdays, the short, strange detour on the clue trail, where we dig up the weirdest, most unbelievable true stories the history has to offer. Today's tale starts with a bang, and a real one. It involves a dead well, a beach in Oregon, and dynamite. What could possibly go wrong? This is the legendary true story of the exploding well in Oregon. It started on 9th of November 1970, when a 45-foot-long sperm well washed ashore near Florence, Oregon. The well was already dead, weighing over 8 tons, and quickly began to decompose in the autumn sun. At first, curious locals came down to the beach to see the well up close. But fascination quickly turned to disgust. The smell was horrific, with a mix of rotting fish, sulfur, and seawater that clung to the clothes and hair long after leaving the beach. Something had to be done, and fast. But removing a well that size isn't as simple as dragging it away. The options were limited. They could have buried it, but the sand was too soft and they feared it would resurface or still smell. Maybe burn it? Again, this wouldn't work. It would be too dangerous. And nobody wanted a whale-sized bonfire. Cut it up and haul it away? Well, that was technically possible, but the idea of carving up 8 tons of rotting blubber wasn't appealing to anyone. So, the Oregon Highway Division was tasked with solving the problem. That was despite having no well removal experience. And after much debate, officials settled on their solution. Use dynamite to blast the well into small, manageable pieces, leaving the seagulls to handle the rest. Spoiler alert, that's not how it worked out. The plan seemed simple on paper. It starts with half a ton of dynamite, which would be placed beneath the well. Then, the blast would scatter chunks far out to the sea, leaving nothing but sand behind. For this, a demolition expert, formerly with the military, was brought in. He calculated the amount of explosive needed, although later he admitted that was more art than science. And with all the preparations in place, on the day of the event, word spread quickly through town. Hundreds of people gathered on the dunes. Some brought picnics and lawn chairs to watch the spectacle. Even local TV crews set up cameras. This wasn't just a well disposal. This was entertainment. The well was stuffed with 20 cases of dynamite. Wires were set and the crowd moved back to what officials called it a safe distance of about a quarter mile. And at 3:45 p.m., with reporters rolling and spectators holding their breath, the plunger was pushed. The explosion was everything people expected, for about 3 seconds. A massive plume of sand, smoke, and whale parts erupted into the sky, and for a moment, the crowd cheered. But then came the blubber rain. Chunks of whale, some weighing several hundred pounds, shot high into the air, hundreds of feet away from the blast site. One enormous piece crashed directly onto a brand new car, completely flattening its roof and destroying it. Smaller pieces rained down on onlookers, forcing them to scatter. And the stench was overwhelming. Just imagine hot, rotting whale meat raining from the sky on a cold November day. Reporters later described people running, screaming, and holding jackets over their heads for protection. And the worst part of all this ordeal? Most of the whale didn't even budge. The explosion had blasted some chunks into the ocean, but a huge portion of the carcass remained on the beach, now spread out, stinky, and far more unpleasant than before. As reporter Paul Linman famously said in his TV segment, "The blast blasted blubber beyond all believable bounds." In the aftermath, cleanup crews had to do exactly what they hoped to avoid, removing the remains by hand and with heavy machinery. Eventually, bulldozers buried what was left of the whale under tons of sand. And the seagulls, meant to be nature's cleanup crew, didn't arrive right away. For days, the beach was left with an unforgettable stench. Later on, the Oregon Highway Division admitted the plan didn't go as expected. Officials later joked that they used too much dynamite, or perhaps not enough. Either way, it was agreed that exploding whales was not a recommended disposal method. In the end, the incident faded into local memory for years. But in the 1990s, old TV footage of the blast resurfaced online and went viral, long before viral videos were even a thing. The story of the exploding whale became an instant piece of internet folklore, retold in books, documentaries, and even comedy sketches. By 2020, 50 years later, the town of Florence embraced its bizarre claim to fame, officially opening the Exploding Whale Memorial Park. A plaque now marks the spot, honoring not just the whale, but what might be the most famously bad idea in a beach cleanup history. Since that day, in 1970, no one has attempted to remove a whale this way again. Today, scientists and environmental agencies use other methods like burying whales deeper in stable sand dunes or towing them out to sea to decompose naturally. Occasionally, they might be using heavy machinery to cut and transport the remains for disposal or study. But the Florence whale left a bigger mark than just a cleanup history. It's a story about what happens when big problems meet big ideas without big planning. Thanks for joining me on this wild ride through one of the strangest stories ever to come out of Oregon, where good intentions, bad math, and half a ton of dynamite made history. This was the Exploding Whale of Oregon. If you enjoyed today's story, follow Clue Trail, leave a review, and share this episode with a friend who loves weird true tales. And if you know a strange story that deserves its moment on Trail of Tuesdays, send it my way. See you next time.